news comes first. This is ABC-7 Extra.
Good evening. I'm Saul Saenz, and this is ABC-7 Extra Sunday edition. Today, a special treat that will come with some tricks. At least that's what we're expecting. We're inside the Pistoleros del Adobe Cantina and Grill, where we've been told is haunted. We're going to find out. Joining us for the taping of Sunday Extra in San Elisario's Pistoleros del Adobe Bar and Grill is Kristen Sobrino, shown here looking on. Kristen is a ghost enthusiast, but somewhat of a skeptic.
Yeah, I wanted to experience something that I've never done before. I never thought that I'd be out here doing this whatsoever.
Let me introduce our guest. With us is the owner of Pistoleros, is Isela Reyes, and Bonnie Juarez, who is the president of the Paso del Norte Paranormal Society. And sitting right next to her is Peter Stone, who is the vice president of the Paranormal Society, as well as the curator of the museum. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. I'm going to start with you, Isela. Let's talk about Pistoleros and it being haunted. Is it?
Very.
Tell me about why you say that it is very haunted. What have you seen? What have you experienced?
A lot of things. I walk around with a bodyguard all the time. I never walk around alone. It's scary. You feel a lot of presence. We've had a lot of things happen to us.
Such as?
We've seen, I've personally seen a man with a huge sombrero once. My husband saw him too, on a different occasion, not that same occasion. We've heard footsteps, seen things. A few weeks ago, a bunch of tables flew off. I mean, not tables, chairs flew off the table. So we've seen a lot of things, heard a lot of things. Have you ever sought any explanation as to why these things happen? Why the chairs flew off the table, such as a breeze, a wind, something like that? No. No explanation whatsoever. No. Yeah. No, it's scary. Now, that was a question I was about to ask you. Is it scary, or have you gotten used to it? Are you constantly surprised? I try not to talk about it, because in the moment, like right now that we're talking about it, we've been talking about it all night. It's scary. It is scary. So I try not to talk about it, just so I can go through my day and quick, you know, in and out kind of thing. But it's hard. It is hard. Bonnie, is what Isela telling us, is it normal for you guys who actually cover the paranormal? Is it common?
It is normal. It is common. People often tell us, we ask them, well, do you have any stories? And then they'll first say, well, no, I really don't. I'm not allowed to talk about it, or I can't talk about it. But I have this one thing that happened, and everybody, eventually we've found, has some story that either they're uncomfortable talking about, but once you're willing to listen and are non-judgmental, they will tell you.
What's the best explanation for seeing a man with a big hat and the noise and the chairs flying off a table? That depends. I mean, if they're seeing a man with a big hat, it could be what we call residual energy. It's like someone who's in a movie and it's just playing over and over again. Or if it's an intelligent haunt, it could be someone who's actually aware of you and aware of what you're doing and what they're doing. So there's different things. It could be different reasons. Should Isela fear what's going on? It depends. I would say no. What we always tell our clients is that if you've never been hurt, no one's ever been made sick or scratched or anything like that, then don't fear it. They may not, what they're seeing may not even be aware of them. They're kind of like a separate dimension or another dimension. If quantum theory says that there are many universes, so I would say no. Yeah, easier said than done. Yeah, true. Right. All right. We're going to go on to Peter now. Pete, let's talk to you about what has been happening here. You've experienced some of it. Tell me about it.
I'm a non-believer. I can't explain what's happened here, but I've been scratched, I've been whipped, I've been poked, I smell like perfume. We've seen the shadow There's a little girl that sings. I can't explain it.
This is what the Paranormal Society recorded during one of their trips to Pistoleros.
I can't explain it, but it's a residual, resonating energy, a memory, a love, a hate, a trauma. It still exists. So the vibes, it's all about the vibes, and it's still here in Sonelli.
And how long have you been doing this?
That I'll admit to it, about 5 years.
And have you grown accustomed to something like this happening?
It's normal every day. Sometimes they follow home.
Yeah. So what do you mean sometimes they follow home? They stick with you and they go home?
They can attach and they can hang out at the house for a while. We have a man that hangs out in the kitchen. There's a cat that jumps off the counter. There's no cat on the counter. Can't explain it.
Yeah. How do you deal with it?
Don't fear it. Don't fear it. Kill it with kindness. Ask it to leave. Sometimes they do.
Yeah. You can imagine what folks at home are thinking right now. This guy's got to be crazy. I mean, come on. It even comes home with you. Why would that not be scary?
Because if you fear it, they're going to stay.
To antagonize you or?
To do what they do. And it doesn't have to be 2, 3 in the a.m. It's going to be any time of day. And usually one energy source, 2 energy sources, depends who's in the house, they're going to see it too.
When is it most likely to happen? In the evening or in the day? You said it happens anytime, but however, when is it most likely to happen?
It takes energy to manifest energy. It can happen any time of the day, 24/7. We've learned it doesn't have to be at night. It can be first thing in the morning, sunrise, noon. There's usually a pattern that we find, and it deals to the event why that spirit is still here. That's what we do. We find the patterns, and generally we're spot on. We're spot on.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, but if you just heard, we ask when it is that things go bump in the night. It can happen anytime, not just at night. We're going to continue our conversation and ask about some of the other places in the borderland that may be haunted that perhaps you may have visited. We'll be back. This is ABC-7 Sunday Extra, where news comes first. Did you believe in ghosts before you came out here?
Yes, I love watching all of the true documentaries, all the true reenactments of ghost stories. That is my favorite thing to do, especially in October. So yeah, I do believe in it.
Night, Sarah.
Drive safe.
Bye.
Drive safe.
Okay.
Bye-bye, Mommy.
You guys ready?
Sure you got everything?
Drive safe.
We all say it. Chevy can help you do it. The Chevy family of SUVs. Find new peace of mind. Find new roads.
Very well qualified buyers can get interest-free financing for 72 months on select popular SUV models. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
The Borderland is strongest when we support each other. That's what Borderland Local Links is all about. Connect with your favorite restaurants, check out activities your family can enjoy, preview upcoming sports and entertainment events. It's all right at your fingertips. Just go to kvia.com and click on local links right there at the top of the page, or scan the QR code on the screen with your phone. Borderland Local Links, supporting local business, connecting you to things that make life better.
Not sure exactly what goes in your blue recycle bin? Take the City of El Paso Environmental Service Department's free recycling challenge to learn how we can flip the contamination rate from 32% to 23% by the year 2023. Become a recycling black belt today. Call, visit our website, or check out our app to find out more.
TFCU is taking fundraising back to school with the High School Spirit debit card. With every qualifying swipe, a donation goes to the local high school of your choice. We've already provided over $40,000 in donations. So help us continue to pay it forward with the only card that gives real support to local students. With over 30 high school logos to choose from, you're sure to find your favorite card. Shop today and fund there tomorrow with the High School Spirit debit card exclusively at TFCU.
Experience the Acura Rdx, a premium crossover built to thrill. With more power than the Lexus NX. And now low 1.9% financing. See Fox Acura of El Paso today.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra Sunday Edition. I also want to welcome my guest, Xtra Reyes, who is the owner of Pistoleros Adobe and Cantina and Grill, Bonnie Juarez, who is the president of Paso del Norte Paranormal, and Pete Stone, who is the vice president and also the curator of the museum. Thanks so much for taking time to try to explain this to you, to us, to our viewing public, which a lot of times is inexplicable. I'm going to start with you, Bonnie. You just heard Mr. Stone talk about how, you know, usually it happens at night, but you believe it happens anytime, but the reason that we do hear or sense that is why?
Once you're at home and things have quieted down and we've all calmed down and maybe everybody's in bed, going to sleep, now you can hear it. Because during the day, we're going about our lives, we're busy, there's a lot of noise, a lot of commotion, things like that going on. So you're not aware of what's going on around you as much. But once now it's quiet and dark, now we can hear it and see it.
Speaking of which, right now we're having the conversation with the three of you. But I have to ask you, is it happening right now as we speak?
It could be. I mean...
do you feel the sensation that there might be something here?
It could be. If I were running a digital recorder, this is what we do. It's called an EVP. And it's a phenomenon that we're asking questions, we're talking, we're doing what we're doing. We're not hearing anything untoward or anything out there. But if I go back and listen to a recording, you may hear voices, you may hear ambient sounds that we're not hearing. If I were asking other questions, you may hear answers to it. And we've caught EVPs, that's what it's called.
Have you caught any of that here?
Yes.
What have you caught?
There's a building across the placita called Los Portales, and 1840s, 1850s building, and used to be a schoolhouse, first public school in Texas. We've caught a little girl singing. There were no little girls there. There was no one singing there. And this is what we find. And people, you know, you listen to it and like, where did that come from? There's no rational explanation for it, but there it is.
Isela, let's ask you about some of the things that have been happening here. As you just heard Bonnie say, a lot of the times when we hear or see some of these things, it's usually happen in our quiet moment. But you're saying that it happens even when it's not so quiet?
Yes, it's happened to us when there's a group of us. It's just not happened to me by myself. So some people have told me like, oh, well, it only happens to you and you've only seen it. But we've had instances where there's other people. There's been a group of 6 of us, 7 of us. And it happened right at that moment. And everybody was like, okay, what was that about?
Something like what?
For instance, one time we were talking like we are right now, and the doors opened by themselves. And one of our friends walked up and said, like, there was a sensor, and he got up and kind of waved at it, and the door wouldn't open. And he did it again a couple of times, and my husband walked over and actually turned on the sensor. Wow. So the sensor was off. Like, it was unexplainable. How would the doors have opened?
You don't fear it, you actually embrace it, and you want to share it with the public,
because
right?
a lot of people are not believers. I'm not a believer myself.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen a lot of things, it is there. I've shared a couple of things and people say it's not true. I've done lives on Facebook and just.
Does anything ever happen during one of those live Facebook lives?
One of our karaoke DJ guy was going live on his Facebook, and he turns back and you could see where the door opened by itself.
Isela also shared with us this picture taken during a performance inside the back part of the Cantina Bar and Grill. It is an auditorium. No one saw an image at first until they zoomed in and saw this, a face painted black and white. Mr. Stone, before we went to break, I prefaced the fact that this is not just happening here at Pistoleros, it's happening elsewhere. Where exactly is this happening? Where are you seeing a lot of activity right now?
All of El Paso County, the most haunted county in the United States. The gateway to the Great American Southwest starts here in Sonelli, and El Paso doesn't disappoint, period. It's happening everywhere. Ever since the lockdown last year of 2020, we've experienced an increase of reports. of people noticing things at home, the businesses, the restaurants, the bars, the grills.
You've captured a lot of things on video. Paso del Norte, Austin High School.
Correct.
Tell me about Paso del Norte, because that's newly renovated. You wouldn't think that there'd be any spooks there, but there are.
General Pershing hangs out in the 1700 room. That's unexplainable. A gentleman dressed in period era wardrobe or clothing, and they see him. There's a lady in a white dress that still roams the upper floors. We can't explain it. Sometimes you look up from our museum and you used to see a lady standing in the window in a white dress. Doesn't make any sense.
She doesn't.
No
She's
electricity.
not registered, I take it.
For a second, it stuns you. And the first thing you're supposed to do is grab a camera and start taking pics. Sometimes you forget because you're stunned.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What has been one of the most impressive manifestations that you've seen?
Here in the San Elizario, in the Portales room, little girl manifested out of the corner, stepped out of the shadows, stepped back in. We all ran to it, and she was not there, but a cold spot, and all the equipment was going off. I can't explain that one.
Yeah.
I can't explain that. People that look like flesh and blood, not transparent, and then they're not there anymore. Voices behind you, things you can't explain.
Yeah. So what do you do?
Don't fear it. Acknowledge it. Say thank you. Can you talk to us? Start recording. Start filming.
We're going to take another quick break, but we're going to put what you just said, to the test and capture your mechanism responding to see whether or not there's something right here. We'll be back with more of ABC-7 Extra when we come back.
They took several pictures. You could see it's a normal picture, but then they took another picture and you could see her expression. She's scared. And they asked her, why'd you yell? And she said, something touched me. And if you zoom in, you could see a hand, fingers, right there. And there's no one behind. There's no one behind her.
You've got enough to think about maintaining. Good thing the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport have a lower cost of maintenance than Toyota Highlander. Come into your Volkswagen dealer today and get 0% APR financing for 36 months on the 2021 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
Now that was the perfect last bite. What made it so perfect? Let's back up. There's crispy bacon and melty cheese, yes. And then there's the clincher, the smooth, roasted heat of all those grilled Hatch green chilies. Perfect, right down to the first bite. The limited time Hatch Green Chili Bacon Burger and new Hatch Green Chili Bacon Chicken Sandwiches. Good thing there's Whataburger. Available by dine-in, drive-thru, curbside, and delivery.
With the right team behind you, it's easy to win. That's why our team at Casa Buick GMC always gives you outstanding savings and service. Get any new 2021 Buick SUV with 0% APR financing for 72 months.
And with our unprecedented trade-in value, it's easy to score on your new ride. We're giving you more than ever before, so come see us first. Get MVP savings at Casa Buick GMC.
Home of the Nice Guys, an official partner of Locomotive Soccer.
There's a used car for lovers, one for dreamers, one for thinkers, and one for doers. When you find the one for you, GECU is there to help you get it. Get a used car with a GECU auto loan today.
You've got enough to think about maintaining. Good thing the 2021 Volkswagen Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport have a lower cost of maintenance than Toyota Highlander. Come into your Volkswagen dealer today and get 0% APR financing for 36 months on the 2021 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
We're now joined by Pete Stone. Pete, tell me what some of this equipment is. What does it detect?
Most of the paranormal equipment we have here measures electromagnetic fields, EMFs, EVPs, temperature change, temperature fluctuations. For instance, we have the classic REM pod, which you see on TV. Same thing with the V pod. Our classic K2s measure, and it's already registering. Thank you. Thank you.
Why do you thank the spirit?
To acknowledge them, that way they don't stay attached to you. That's my theory, and I'm sticking
Well,
with
if that's the case, thank you.
We have the millimeter, we have the trimeter, and then our bells and whistles is the actual K2.
Yeah. So what have you detected so far in the time that we've been here?
Energy readings. We asked it if it's here, and then we're getting that, which means it's an acknowledgement the energy is around the field of the device, and in my eyes, that's an acknowledgement saying something's here.
Do you know what it's detecting?
Energy.
But you don't know something specifically, man, woman,
That's what
child?
we do. We investigate, we find the patterns, and we ask the questions, and sometimes the responses are intelligent responses, and that's how we find out who needs help on the other side.
Yeah. Ask another question.
Mijita, ¿estás aquí? Si estás aquí, toca los aparatos, por favor. Can you touch it, madre? I'm going to turn them on and make them look pretty, okay?
What should be happening?
If they're touched, they're gonna light up. We'll get grounded. Thank you, mijita.
So they're touching them right now?
I don't know. Don't know.
Because they're kind of going off all over the place.
If you're here, make it go to red. That way we know it's you. I can't explain that.
Yeah. So that's essentially telling you that it's here, it's acknowledging you?
That it's being touched, that the antenna's being touched. The only reason that should go off is something comes up within the proximity or actually touches the antenna. This shouldn't be happening.
So it's around us right now.
I would say something's around us.
Yeah. While we were getting a lesson on how the meters ghost hunters use work, Kristen Sobrino was being given a tour of Pistoleros by owner Isela Perez.
Those are the only two doors besides the back, right? But light that comes in here, so it's very dark, very, very dark.
All the time.
What's happened back here?
So this is the bar area, and this is where I saw the man with a sombrero. Then we heard the footsteps here. We've seen quite a few things here. You know, the chairs fell on that table a couple weeks ago.
I'm starting to sweat over here.
Because?
My ears are ringing. There may be something here. Can you make the K2 go to red again? Thank you.
Now, of course, for folks at home, they're thinking, you're triggering it to get started, and that's why it's doing that.
I wish. that makes the heebie-jeebies come out, and it doesn't disappoint.
Essentially, you're saying there's a presence right now here with us?
We have energy around us.
In the time that you've been doing it, do you go beyond the electronics and just go with the sensation?
Sensations
What do
are
you feel?
clairvoyant, a ringing in my ears, sometimes a sweat coming on, and tingles. You get tingles.
Yeah. At any point in time, does it manifest and show itself?
It does take energy to manifest energy, depending who's in the room. It will manifest, and it's usually a shadow person. They do appear sometimes as flesh bodies, human bodies. I can't explain it.
Yeah, it keeps going to red every once in a while. Why is
Thank
that?
you. Something's touching the antenna. I'm gonna turn this one off. This is crazy. This shouldn't be happening. Thank you. Can you let it go? Thank you. I can't explain that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the inexplicable, obviously, it's still on.
That tells you that the device is on. If it's touched, you're gonna see the lights go around. But it has to be touched or within proximity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Stone. Thank you so much. Again, can't explain it, but I want to thank you for taking time to talk to us. And I want to thank you for watching. Again, it's inexplicable to them. You decide, do they exist? Do they not exist? An important question on Halloween. Thank you for taking time to watch tonight's special edition of ABC-7 Extra Sunday edition. Good night, and try to have buenas noches. Anything definitive that would convince you that happened tonight that ghosts exist?
Not here. No, I believe all the stories that have been told to us. I don't want to imagine, but I can just imagine that actually happening.